All right, so with night one of the Democratic debates in Detroit behind us, I just want to talk about some of the takeaways, some of the key points of the debate. It was quite long. I actually thought it was going to be an hour and a half or so, but it was 2.5 hours. So I thought it was going over time when it was past 10 because it started at 8, but no, it was scheduled for 8 to 10:30. So I thought the best performances were from Warren and Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. I thought there seemed to be a kind of framing from the moderators and as well as the other more moderate candidates that was supposedly like trying to press them, push them up against the wall, kind of, and question some of their stances on policy and whatnot, and their approaches, and calling them too extreme and so on. And I thought they were really resilient and fought back, and had no qualms about it, had no difficulty in doing so. And many people were expecting, especially as a mainstream media narrative, that Warren and Bernie would go at each other because they're both more progressive and are supposedly going for the same voters, so they might attack each other. But that didn't happen at all. So I thought that was good for both of them. I thought they had the two best performances overall, and because of this, I think they stand to gain from the debate. Honestly, where they will gain from, I don't know necessarily. It might hurt them that they don't have Biden there to gain support from Biden voters. But I mean, if as long as the viewership was high, I think they both stand to gain. Bernie, the first half of the debate, Bernie was really good. I thought he was jovial. Even he drew a lot of laughter at different points, like when Hickenlooper said, you can throw your hands up, and he's like, okay, yeah. People seem to like that. People seem to like when he said to Tim Ryan that he wrote the bill. Tim Ryan was suggesting, oh, Bernie, you don't know whether this will be good for people in unions who have certain healthcare benefits that their union provides them. And he said, no, I wrote the damn bill. And so I thought overall he enjoyed a better debate than the first debate in June in Miami. And I thought Warren was also very good, and she was good at the first one as well. She might have been even better at this one. She shut down Delaney, for example, really well, really effectively, saying, like, I don't know why people go through the trouble of running for a presidential primary when all they want to do is tell us what we can't do and what is not doable, and to limit our vision and imagination. I'm kind of butchering that probably. I'm adding some words and not an exact quote, but I thought that was a really effective line. I thought it got a lot of buzz on Twitter as well. So she did really well to do that. So instead of being this kind of Warren versus Sanders narrative, it seemed to be the moderates versus the progressives, or moderates versus Sanders and Warren, and they seemed to team up really effectively. And I thought, as some other people had mentioned, that they tag teamed really effectively, and they did really well for themselves. They were really effective. I mean, I didn't see much of what the moderates were trying to come at them with landing, really. To use a boxing analogy, they seemed to be bobbing and weaving really well and weren't being hit by any significant strikes, significant punches, so to speak. Outside of them, I thought the moderates, honestly, many of them, their campaigns seem to be struggling as far as the polls are concerned. They're pretty low in the polls. Some of the campaigns have a substantial amount of money, even though they're not very high in the polls. Buttigieg has a lot of money. O'Rourke might have a lot of money as well, but it seems like they're not really going anywhere fast. At least it doesn't seem to be materializing. Buttigieg, I thought, was better in the first debates in June. This debate, he seemed kind of overshadowed for the most part. I thought he was still good, clean, composed, and all of that. He didn't do anything terrible, obviously, but there wasn't much memorable from his performance either. So I didn't think um, this debate would help him an awful lot. Um, Outside of them, the moderates I thought didn't do anything really for themselves. Delaney was a good foil. I thought he does Biden's job well for him. I think him being in the race might help Biden, honestly, more than anyone, because he does take that moderate message and he crafts it in such a way that seems very genuine and believable, like that he actually believes those things, um, and that he just disagrees. And I think he's effective in that way, and he does seem to come off as I said, genuine and honest. And he doesn't back down. I mean, he really his positions don't seem very popular in the Democratic Party of today, but he really doesn't care, and he just says what he believes. And I think for that reason, he was probably the best performance out of the moderates, in my opinion. And then I thought the third best, right behind Bernie and Warren, who I thought were the two best, far and away the two best performances of the night, was Marion Williamson, because I thought, you know, she had not a lot of speaking time compared to the other candidates. However, she had a lot of applause, raucous applause in some instances, and she really was effective at delivering, punchy, sometimes even long form, effective, gripping monologues or diatribes, so to speak. So, I thought she did really well for herself. Her response on reparations was very good. She seemed to know what she was talking about, even though many Americans might not really know much about that issue and how it is best justified. She seemed to provide a very good, honest, and forthcoming, and strong case for reparations that drew a lot of applause from the crowd, which might be a surprise, but you know she did really well for herself. I thought overall, despite, according to the New York Times, being the candidate with the least amount of speaking time. So my ratings, more or less go Bernie Warren, Marion Williamson third behind them, and then I would probably have Delaney, then Buttigieg, and then the rest of the five, the other five, just in any order after them. Klobuchar had some decent moments on guns, and her closing statement was not bad, but I thought overall nothing really stood out and was memorable from the rest of the five. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to tonight's debates. Biden, Kamala Harris, and Booker will be at that debate. Tulsi Gabbard, of course, and many others, Andrew Yang. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm very interested to see what will happen tonight, how aggressive the rest of the field will be towards Biden or towards Harris, for example. And yeah, I look forward to being with you and reviewing that debate as well. Thanks. Bye. Thanks for watching.